Physical birth is free of charge, while a person's born-again birth must be earned, thereby calling physical man to fight evil to bear fruit out of his earthly life, while spirit man must surrender his free will to God and give all to Christ. The job of earth is to teach the lessons of life, while the job of heaven is to pour forth God's blessings of life. Obviously, natural birth offers a person physical life on earth so he can grow up and learn the lessons of life by fighting evil unto his own death to bear the fruits of wisdom, courage, and generosity, thereby bringing forth his new mind, heart, and soul. Secondly, born-again birth offers a person spiritual life in heaven so he can mature and receive God's blessing by surrendering his free will to God's divine will to bear the fruits of repentance, prayers, and works to bring forth his righteousness, holiness, and perfection. This means that the flesh of man can only have his nature changed from human to divine by purifying his own grave to change his animal mind, robot heart, and human soul into a holy saint. In contrast, the spirit of man can only wash away his sins to change his sinfulness to holiness by purifying his own host to change him into a righteous man, holy man, perfect man, and finally, a free man before God. The point being made here is that the flesh of man must be changed into divinity via his grave, which is resurrected on Judgment Day to bring forth his new transfigured body, thereby making his flesh divine. Secondly, the spirit of man must wash away his sins by fulfilling Christ's host through his ability to believe 100% in the fact that God's Son can remove his old spirit and exchange it with Christ's spirit, so that Christ can become any surrendered soul. Now it should make sense that the entire human race is being called to fulfill both the physical world and the Lord's spiritual church by both fighting worldly temptations and by dying to itself via its complete submission or the sacrifice of its free will to God's divine will. This means that to understand the forces of life in its purest form, it must be comprehended that the natural powers of God's kingdom come from both the sacrificial prayers of Christ's Holy Mass and from the devotional prayers of the Virgin Mary's Holy Rosary. This implies that the Mass and the Rosary are the mystical keys to focusing one's life on man's grave and on Christ's host for the salvation of man.